Hello, everyone. On June 12th, 2016, 49 people were killed at an Orlando nightclub. On October 1st, 2017, 58 people were killed and over 500 people were injured in Las Vegas. These are just some of the senseless mass shootings that happen in America. There now, but that is just a small portion of the problem that is happening with gun violence in America. According to the CDC, there were 2,724 deaths in Florida, and in gun deaths in Florida. In that same time, there was over 39,000 gun deaths in America. These are just some of the statistics that I could have about gun deaths and mass shootings, but I want to talk to you about something that can be done about it. I want to start having more comprehensive background check and gun show loopholes at the federal level. It's becoming an epidemic in this country with gun violence between homicides, mass shootings, suicides, and accidental deaths. It's something that we need to start doing something about. There are many solutions that we can talk about, but what is happening is most Americans want something to be done. So today I want to talk about some gun facts, why we need universal background checks, and what is a universal background check, and who supports it. And then finally, I want to talk about what you can do to support it. I want to start with some facts. Every year, there's nearly 37,000 people died with guns. There are over 100,000 people injured with guns. According to Everytown, the suicide rates are higher if you're using a gun. 85% of attempts with a gun end in death, while only 5% end with any other means. And according to the CDC, gun deaths are the second leading cause of death in children. These are just some facts about gun deaths, but we have a real gun problem in America. There are many ways that we can start it, but I think that we need a federal law requiring universal background checks. What is a universal background check? According to NBC News, it is a system that you can run, a database that you can run a name through that has court records and mental health records. Now, one of the issues is that these are done by states, not by the federal government. So, individual states don't necessarily talk to each other. But this also doesn't account for private gun sales or at a gun show, which is what is called the gun show loophole. So, anyone at a gun show can buy a gun. We need an expanded universal background check that would require all sales of guns to go through a background check. We need to have a federal database from which all states are given access to. Currently, it is just the state that you are buying the gun from. We need to have this because different states have different laws. People can go to other states to buy guns. Now that we know what a background check is, why do we need it? A Washington Post report found that states that have a lower gun death rate, have a higher background check and stricter gun laws. But because of gun violence is not studied at a federal level, and it is extremely hard to study gun violence, there's not a whole lot of reports about if it might help. There is a study by the Rand Institute that said it would have a moderate to modest effect, if any, on guns. But we need to have a federal gun law, a federal universal background check. Like I stated before, it is easy to go across a state and buy a gun that has different gun laws. People always say that criminals will get guns anyway, and they point to New York City and Chicago. Well, one of the biggest issues that they're having there is people are bringing guns from where it is easier to purchase them, and they're buying them legally. So we need to have a federal law that requires everyone to go through the background check and have a federal database that provides this. Who supports background checks? Well, according to a Quinnipiac poll that was taken in March, 93% of Americans are in favor of support background checks, and only 6% oppose. And even 87% of gun owners approve of a universal background check. Now, who opposes it? The NRA does. Now, the NRA they claim to represent gun owners of America, but they mostly represent gun manufacturers of America, and they want people to buy as many guns as possible and make it easier to buy guns as possible. What can you do about it? Well, you can go to www.whosmyrepresentative.org to find out who your current federal legislators are in Congress and in Senate, and you can call them, write them a letter, and send them an email. I know these seem like simple things, but if a lot of people do this, it will get through to them. And there is support between both Democrats and Republicans. In conclusion, something has to be done about gun violence. There are so many different solutions that can be done, but I believe that we need to start with a universal background check as a federal law. So no one's buying in one state, transporting it to another, and even though some reports say it will have a modest change in what's happening, it will have a change. And remember, everyone wants this. This has widespread bipartisan support between both Democrats and Republicans. So I ask you, please call your congressperson or senator and try to have this law changed. Thank you so much.